From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
It's a big morning of a big day with that consumer price index number released just minutes ago. And what did it say? Shocker. That consumer price index number was expected to be flat on the headline number and expected to actually track a little bit higher on the component parts. But what did it do? All the breaking news in this recording from the shores of Santa Monica, California. You saw it coming, I saw it coming. But what did Wall Street say? All the latest details on the numbers, the reaction, the bond market, and the stock market. Oh, baby. Plus, the implications of what it means for your benefits. Are your benefits going to go up a lot? Yes, they are. How much? We'll have the latest details based upon that CPI for the month of August, released this morning, September 13th, 2022. And it's the second of three numbers that determine how much your benefits are going to go up a lifetime. This is singularly one of the most important recordings you're going to have the entire summer because this is lifetime stimulus. Then we'll be turning to the other parts of this economy and how that CPI and that inflation may hurt that part of that economy. Housing, recession, Federal Reserve, labor, we got a lot to go over. This is day one of 3 days of data. Today the CPI, tomorrow the PPI, the day after that the retail sales. We got a lot to go over. Plus, we'll get an indication of where we are year to date and what we should see at the end of the year. Meantime, we have a series of corporations downward guiding and also downgraded by corporate America as well today. Boy, it's getting exciting. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, we also have massive stimulus. Massive stimulus, $14,000 stimulus checks in just a few days. Huge stimulus checks, 100 to 300 checks, $100 to $300,000. How do you get them? You become a member and stay the big second half as we go over all this incredible money. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, the breaking news starts right here, right now, as Mornings LA delivers you this August CPI live on air for September 13th, 2022, starting right now. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a big day. It's September 13th, 2022, as a consumer price index number is released. And where did it come in? It went much higher. Wow. Now, this should not be just a surprise to you and I, because we've been talking about this, we've been talking about this, we've been interacting about this in all the live chats for this last few months. We've been talking about milk and eggs, and we've been talking about salaries and rent and more. We've been interacting and seeing it firsthand. So we already saw this coming. Wall Street didn't. So you're doing better than Wall Street starting this new day. Let's go right into the data, and then we'll go over the analysis thereafter. The making news minutes ago is that the CPI for the month of August beat on both the top and the component parts. The headline CPI was supposed to be flat, down 0.1% month to month. It actually went up. It went up 0.1% for the month of August compared to the month of July. That was a major beat. Then, when we looked at the component core CPI, which excludes food and energy, it was expected to go up about a 0.2%. What did it do? It went up 0.6%. Wow, this is shocking for some, not for us. Real average hourly earnings went up 0.2%. This was not a surprise because we had the payroll numbers released 2 weeks ago that showed the salaries, the wages went up 0.3% month to month. That was not a surprise. What else do we have in some of this data today? Compared year to date, it was up 8.3%. Then that's higher than the month of July. That was only up 6.3%. Then energy prices fell 5% over the month of August. That was led by a 10.6% decline for gasoline. However, and the big however, it was offset by the other component parts you and I have been talking about. Food increased about 0.8% for the month of August, and shelter, which is 30% of the CPI, rose dramatically. And that jumped nearly 1%, 0.7%, and that is up 6.2% year to date. Here was an interesting component part. The Medicare services were a massive gain, 0.8% in just 1 month, up 5.6% compared to year to date. New vehicle prices rose about 0.8% compared to a used car sales that fell 0.1%. Here are the year-to-date numbers. Gasoline rose 25.6%, airline 33.4% up, electricity 15.8%, shelter or food for the home 13.5%, new vehicle 10.1%, used car shelter 6.2%, Medicare 5.6%, and apparel 5.1%. Wow. There you go. Is this a surprise to you or I? No, it's not, because we've been discussing this a lot over the last few weeks. I said, jump in the live chat and tell me, have you seen the milk and eggs go down or flat or go up? The vast majority of you were saying that they were flat or going up. Well, you got it right. I said, how about the rent? Do you see it going down? Of course not. The landlord's not cutting the rent. Is the rent flat or going up? And you and I said it is flat or going up. And you got it right. The salaries, we had this in the payroll numbers about 2 weeks ago. We knew it was up 0.3%, and that it manifests itself in today's numbers well, went up. And then the gasoline. I've been deeply critical of this AAA national average over the last few weeks because I don't think this is really a reliable number. Because when you look at the situation, you have the international price of Brent crude, a more important number, going down, going up, going down, going up. Not particularly down a lot for the whole month. Then, of course, the rent, 30% of the CPI. So I said, you and I, we've been discussing this. We see the component parts going up, and that even if the gasoline did go down, we see enough offset, enough balancing off of the gasoline down that we think that the core CPI was to go higher. And you and I got it right. The core CPI, we expected to go higher. It was supposed to be up 2%. It was up 0.6%. But then the headline CPI, this was a big one, expected to be flat, down 0.1%. It was up 0.1%. Now, what's the reaction coming in today from stocks and bonds? Remember how this works. Stocks up, bonds down, stocks up. You know exactly what you think is happening. If the inflation is higher than expected, then the bond traders expect the Federal Reserve to spike more with those interest rate spikes. And the bond traders would trade up and the stocks would go down. Is that what's happening today? Absolutely. So bonds up, stocks down, right on the news of the CPI across the board. In fact, get ready to jump on the live chat and give me your answer to this one, because this one's a biggie. The bond traders are trading up the two-year bond right now, the 2-year Treasury bond. And they're trading it up right now, up 17 basis points just today on the news of that CPI, up to a 3.735%. Here's the question of the morning. Is the surge of the 2-year bond up 17 basis points the highest level of the year, highest level since 2007, or highest level since right before the pandemic? Jump in the live chat and I'll jump in there with you and see if anyone got it right in just a second. The yield inversion curve is becoming more inverted, of course. That's an indication of recession when the 2 and the 10-year Treasury notes are moving. And then what about the stock market? We already went over this. Bonds up, stocks down. So stocks fell dramatically on the news, down 350 points when this hit. The reaction to the day's news, I love this quote. It comes from Mike Loengart, head of portfolio construction at Morgan Stanley's Global Investment Office. Today's CPI reading is a stark reminder of the long road we have until inflation is back down to earth. Wishful expectations are that we're in a downward trajectory and the Fed will lay off the gas. May have been a little bit premature. Just a little bit premature? Yes, just very premature. Let's jump in the live chat and see if anyone projected that answer that I asked just a second ago correctly. Did you get that question, that answer to that question right, or did you not? And if you guess that this is the lowest level of the bond yield, the highest level of the bond yield, the 2-year Treasury note up 17 basis point since 2007, then you are correct. That is shocking across the board. The bond yield is really right now at the highest note we have seen since 2007. And that is just really shocking across the board. The latest details across the land today is that the bond yields are going one way and the stocks are going the other way. But where are you going? your your benefits are going up a lot. This is huge news. Remember, your benefits are tied to inflation, and I'm just so excited for you. I think we deserve a round of applause. You deserve a round of applause. Congratulations. We have been talking about this a long time. We've been talking about your rise of your benefits last year, earlier this year, throughout much of this year. We talked about SS200. We talked about SS300. We talked about swapping COLA for inflation. We talked about Fistos. Well, guess what? You're getting more than any of those items ever were going to give you. Why? Because of lifetime stimulus. Your benefits are going to go up lifetime, the largest lift of a generation. If you are in the live chat right now, you congratulate one another right now. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits. Because why? You're going to get the largest lift of your benefits of a lifetime. This is going to be thousands of dollars for you over your lifetime. It's absolutely incredible. Why? Because your benefits were determined based upon today's number. The number for the month of July released August 10th, and the final number, the third of the three numbers, being released around October 10th for the month of September. Let's go over what's going on. Your benefits are going to go up the largest of a generation because inflation is the largest of a generation. And last year we talked about SS200. That was going to be, 12 months of $200. Yeah, $1,000. SS300 we talked about last year. What Joe Biden promised, what Liz Warren promised, what Bernie Sanders referenced. That was going to be 1 year of $300 checks. Well, then this year we talked about swapping COLA for inflation to make sure you lock in inflation in January, February, March before it goes down. Well, it hasn't gone down. I was the first broadcaster in financial news to say that the U.S. economy would suffer 8% inflation last year. In December, I projected early in 2021 and was going to stay around. But I was deeply worried, as you and I were, that inflation was going to fall before you lock in this lifetime of benefits. Well, today we have 2 or 3 months data, and it's looking absolutely perfect. Let's go over how this works. Let's go over the great news for you, and this is you if you're on benefits. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits. Your benefits are going up a lot. This was the day. This is the most important day of recordings for you of the entire summer if you're on benefits. You, if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, Veterans benefits. Some of you are going to see $5,000. Some of you a little bit less. Some of you even more. Why? Because the second of 3 months of data came in and it absolutely was astronomical. We've been watching this inflation since May. Remember in May? When that May in CPI came in so high, 8.6%, and I said, I just hope it stays the same for you over the next 4 months. 8.6 was May. Then the June number came in at a 9.1%. Well, we needed to see the July, August, and September. The July was an 8.5. Today's number was an 8.6 approximately, 8.4, 8.5, 8.6. It's absolutely incredible. And so how much your benefits are going to go up? The Seniors League, when looking at the data, back on August 10th, that said based upon that CPI print, your benefits will go up 10.1%. So what am I saying today? Well, over the last few weeks, you and I talked about these different possibilities. And I said the gasoline is really one of those hard things to predict. But I see the milk and eggs up. I see the rent up. I see the salaries up. I see the other parts going up. And I think that the Seniors League may be undervaluing this raise of your benefits at 10.1. Today, you're going to see me over the broadcast today for September 13th saying I think your benefits are going to go up 11 to 12%. 11 to 12% is what I'm projecting because today's number is insanely great news for you. It's insanely great news for you. We have one more month of data, but we're now through 2 or 3 months of data. It's not there's no indication that inflation is going to drop dramatically in the month of September, because remember, the month of September, which we're living in right now, is released in October, but the Federal Reserve doesn't do anything until about a week and a half from now. And whatever the Federal Reserve does, it doesn't impact the economy within 10 seconds. So this is looking like it's done. This is looking like it's literally perfect. Yes, you're going to see this massive sums of money. And remember, this is not just 1 year stimulus. This is a lifetime. I'm so excited for you. It's looking like it's going to be about 11 to 12%, and it's a lifetime of stimulus. It's absolutely incredible for you. And remember, you could still go up more the year after that because this is your new normal. Everything after that is just icing on cake. You could add another 2% on top of that. Incredible across the board. This is just insane. And I want to congratulate you, the Purple Power, because you have been doing this analysis really well in the live chats. I've been asking you, salaries up? Yeah, we saw that in the payroll numbers released 2 weeks ago. Rent, up or flat? We all said up or flat. The food, up or flat? Yeah, we all said up or flat. The yogurt is a fortune. Here in Los Angeles. It's gone to $7 for a pint of yogurt. You fight to find it at $3 somewhere, but it's not. Most places about $4. The eggs up. The milk sometimes down. And then the rent. We all discussed this. 30% of the rent of the CPI is the rent. And finally, the gasoline. I was not reading too much into the gas. Wall Street, gas, Wall Street, gas, Wall Street. They have a lot of gas. Wall Street kept on talking about gas. And I said, you know what? You're looking at the AAA national average. I'm not. I'm looking at the international price of Brent crude. Because when you look at it, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up. And the AAA national average just shows that the gasoline's down in 3 states. It's not down at all in California. It's not down in the western United States. So I was not using gasoline as an indication that inflation is down. And that is why we had that comment that came in yesterday and today that's indication of where this economy is going. Now, there you go. That is the raise of your benefits. Now, are parts of this economy going to be hurt by this persistent inflation? Absolutely. Let's go over that right now. You need to get rid of any debt you have that is flexible debt. Credit card debt, get rid of it. Car loans, get rid of it. Mortgages are flexible, get rid of it. Why? Because over the last few weeks, and I want you to put this in a picture frame and put it on a wall somewhere and say, he said that. I've been saying that the Federal Reserve is going to do 75 basis point increases at that September FOMC, October, November, and December. And will continue those interest rate spikes into the middle of next year until they get inflation to 2%. And no one is saying that. And imagine how expensive your debt will be if I'm correct. It's going to be really bad. Then, if you don't have debt, but you are in an environment in which you're exposed to someone who has debt, get ready for the implications of it. A lot of you are getting back to work. I'm so proud of you. A lot of you are getting back to your new normal, maybe seeing your grandkids during the day. And that or whatever you're interacting with may be impacted by someone else's debt. For example, some of you are back to work. Does the employer have merchandise bought on debt or inventory bought on debt? It's not going to be a good circumstance. Let me explain to you why. First, the debt that is expensive right now that they may barely be being able to afford, they won't be able to afford by December. Imagine 5 more months of interest rate spikes at 75 basis point. Ouch. It will be unsustainable for small businesses, for mom and pops, for anyone who have credit card debt. What about into next year? Yeah, the interest rate spikes will continue thereafter. That is why it's not going to be bueno. Let's go over housing. Are you impacted by anything in the housing market or know someone who is? Well, here you go. The 30-year mortgage rate fixed was 3% plus last year. It's 6% plus right now. Well, where is it going? Get ready to go to 7%. Do you think anyone's going to be able to afford a mortgage at 7%? No, they're not able to afford a mortgage at 6%. That's why the housing market is in a housing recession. And that housing recession is far from over. And we have that data coming in tomorrow. Here's what the week has ahead for us. Wednesday, September 14th at 7 a.m., this is all Eastern Standard Time, the Mortgage Banking Association, MBA, will release the results of the mortgage purchase applications. Are people applying for mortgages? Of course not. And they're really not going to apply for the mortgages now. The Producer Price Index is released tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. This is inflation. And the projection before today's CPI was a 0.1% decrease for the headline number and a 0.3% increase for the core PPI. Do you think that's wrong? Of course it's wrong now. Retail sales is expected to go higher when it's released on Thursday, September 15th, 0.2%. And then the jobless claims released at 8:30 on Thursday, expected to go higher to 225,000. This University of Michigan on Friday comes in with the consumer sentiment. And what is the consumer sentiment? Lobster shorts are not in fashion. That is the consumer sentiment being released on Friday. Also the consumer sentiment. The $12 ice cream, too expensive. And the San Francisco hairstyle needs to stay in San Francisco. On Thursday, we'll also have some production numbers released before sunrise by the Fed that indicates how robust or weak the economy is. Here's what you need to know is that with this economy and that inflation going up so much and staying up, great news for you and SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, how much everyone's going to get that same percentage raise across the board. I'm projecting about 11 to 12% right now. Seniors League will see their numbers potentially on Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock. That's a show you want to watch. It's the breaking news report, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. But some of you will see more than $5,000. Some of you will see less. Some of you will see right on the money. Here's what you need to know, that over a lifetime, you're going to see thousands of dollars because of today's recordings. Thousands of dollars you're going to see over your lifetime because once your benefits go up, they never go down. But other parts of the economy are not going to survive that, and those parts of the economy are the housing market. A housing market, mortgage applications will fall. No one will be able to afford the purchase of a home, and no one will be able to sell their home. So here's what I need you to zone in on. Reality check. Reality check. The comment came in yesterday when we were seeing the data from Credit Suisse, the major bank, saying the downward trend will continue for the rest of this year. When Fitch Ratings, the major bank, said the downward trend will continue for the rest of the year. And then we had the big quote from Principal Global Investment Global Strategist Seema Shah. Says the reality check is starting to set in. Back to reality. Do I agree? I don't agree. I think that Wall Street has a reality check only in for about 30 days. They think that those interest rate spikes will happen in September and October, and that's it. And that is why they're shocked by today's news. That's why you're not shocked by today's news. Why? Here is what's happened, and here is where it's going. You and I understand where this economy is going. Interest rate spikes the whole rest of this year. Recession for 2 more years. Inflation continuing next year. Federal Reserve acting on top of this throughout the rest of this year and next year. Wall Street, reality check is not set in. First, they still believe that the Federal Reserve is going to stop this interest rate spikes in October. Untrue. The home sellers, only 20% of home sellers have cut the price of the home. They all got to cut the price of the home. No one is going to afford a mortgage come December at 7% 30-year fixed. And you will not have a seller if you're a home you will not have a buyer if you're a home seller. Stocks, crypto. Stocks, we saw what happened in the month of May. When Target and Walmart said there's a big problem with this economy, and the stock market crashed, then people try to keep on telling you, buy, buy, buy. Buy, 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 trying to tell you that this was a short-lived story. Not a short-lived story. The latest details coming in on the corporate front today is much the same as we've seen over the last few days. Let's look at those corporate earnings that came in minutes ago. And the corporate earnings and downward projections and downgrades continue left and right. What do we have today? Downgrades, which is where companies, banks give downward guidance for the rest of a year for a company, are coming in. Oatly, downgraded by Credit Suisse. The stock is down 2%. Jefferies downgrades Dow Chemical. The stock is down 1%. Nintendo. Life is like a video game? Yes, the stock is up 5%. Wolf Speed. Life is like a wolf? Yeah, the stock is up 2%. Oracle gained up 2%. Twilio added 1%. Twitter up 1%. And Adobe. Another day, another Adobe story. Adobe downgraded by Capital Markets BMO. Much of what we've seen for a while. And this is what's so important to understand. Stocks will go lower. Bonds will go higher. Housing will get worse. Inflation will continue. Recession will get much worse as we start 2023. You know it. I know it. But Wall Street is trying to bet against it. And their betting is losing. And that is where this economy is going. And the comments that came in yesterday from Shaw that the reality check is set in, I don't really agree with it. The comments that are coming in from Lowengarth today at Portfolio Management, Morgan Stanley Global Investments, that it was a little bit of a victory lap, premature, absolutely well said, but it still doesn't address that Wall Street is trying to say this is over in October. Look how high the inflation is. It ain't over in October. And imagine with all these interest rate spikes from the Federal Reserve this year that they have not gotten the CPI, their preferred benchmark for inflation, down at all, not even 1%. Yeah, imagine what the Federal Reserve is doing today. They're going to get some $12 ice cream. No, they are just saying, hey, folks, it's just no bueno for them across the board. When Credit Suisse says our negativity on the market will continue beyond, and that Finch says corporate profitability will be further impeded by recession, this is big news for you. And this is why you have to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. There is now $14,000 stimulus checks. There is now 14 categories of upwards of 300 checks, upwards of $300,000. It's federal stimulus. And this big money is available for you. Viewers are getting on a regular basis. And viewers are getting massive sums of money. Longtime member, longtime volunteer. Dragon got over $140,000. Lorraine got over $150,000. One viewer out of Florida, wonderful viewer, his name is Frank Mancuso, got 18 checks of mortgage, 18 months of utilities, 18 months of internet. Another viewer out of Florida getting 80 to 100 checks. Viewers are getting $100,000 to $300,000 on a regular basis on this channel. Len Glenn getting 12 months of utilities. Another viewer getting 12 months of utilities. Two viewers getting 14 months of rent. It's incredible. How do you get these great sums of money? How do you get all this incredible stimulus like these $14,000 of checks that are available right now this week? You go onto this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Casino VIP. You become a member. You get that incredible membership newsletter Monday through Friday, and you get those huge checks. Step one, go onto this video, become a member. Then, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this channel delivers to you the membership newsletter. And the same membership newsletter is delivered to members of LALATE 1. You may be watching LALATE 1 channel right now. LALATE 2 and LALATE 3, all at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. When you get that membership newsletter, you go there and apply for check A, B, C, all the way to check Q. 14 categories, 300 plus checks, $300,000 across the board, possible for you to get. It's incredible. And we're going to go over all that big sums of money in the big second half. I'll see you back in 60 seconds as the breaking news continues with that CPI on mornings. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities.
That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues in the big second half of Mornings LA from the shores of Santa Monica, California. With that inflation coming in so high, your benefits are going up a lot. It's incredible. Well, more about that today on a 3 o'clock afternoons. It's a breaking news report. You don't want to miss it. Plus, do not miss Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Evenings LA, of course, is the breaking news report and all the latest reaction to Wall Street and today's news of the markets. And today's news, that's CPI. So much to know, and ultimately, so much to get. Become a member. Go right in this video, become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Join this channel. Join LA 1, LA 2, or LA 3. Then, get that membership newsletter delivered via the YouTube alerts from YouTube to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and go get those huge checks. The first 3 checks, ABC. The next 7 checks, E through K. The next checks after that, L through Q. 14 categories of forced stimulus in every U.S. state, done by the federal government. Federal stimulus. You qualify. Single individual, 75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, 150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits, go get it. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, rent, own, with children, without children, go get those big sums of money across the board. You deserve these big sums of money. They are all in the membership newsletter. First, you go down the membership newsletter, apply for A, then you apply to B, then you apply for C. Then you go lower and you apply for E through K, and then you apply for O through Q. After Q is L through Q. There we go. And one of the great benefits of becoming a member, of course, is not only the newsletter, but everything in the newsletter. In the newsletter, the first line nightly is the price of gasoline, the price of wheat, and the price of corn. And right after that is this, the worksheets. The worksheets are an incredible PDF for you to print out to keep track of all the incredible stimulus you're applying for and to keep track of what's going on with inflation. We went over that. Recession, we went over that. Labor, 225,000 new jobless claims projected for tomorrow. And the Federal Reserve. I'm projecting the Federal Reserve to have interest rate spikes of 75 for the whole rest of this year and continue into next year. The next page of the worksheets is a place to keep track of all of the stimulus you're applying for. Check A is 1 check, but B is 80 to 100 checks. Check C is 80 to 100 checks. And you have 12 places to get those checks in that newsletter. So you have a lot of checks to get. 2 viewers getting 14 months of rent. Lynn Glenn getting 12 months of utilities with another viewer. Just incredible success stories across the board. Let's recap where these checks came from. The first incredible 3 checks, A, B, and C, were passed by the President of the United States by executive action in the month of March. It's $100,000, and you want to get those first 3 checks, A, B, and C. Then Congress, 4 weeks ago, passed checks E through K. Huge. That's 7 categories of checks. And since then, I found more checks for you, L through Q. That is now 300 possible checks, $300,000 possible dollars, stimulus checks as much as $14,000, huge sums of money, and just absolutely incredible past. You want to get those big sums of money right now. This is you. What do the checks look like? I have no $100 check, obviously. The average check is about 10, 15,000. Average check is about 10, 15,000. The highest, well, no, let me take that back. The average check is about 10, 15,000. The highest check is 100,000. The lowest check, I think, is about 5,000. So there is massive sums of money. It's just absolutely incredible. Remember, when you become a member of LA1, LA2, or LA3, you get the same newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Congratulations to the triple members. Margaret was the first triple member to LA1, 2, and 3, the 3 channels. Dragon, the second triple member. Now we've had a lot of double members. What I encourage you to do is the following. I'm so proud of you. So many of you are back to your new normal now that the lockdown is over. You're visiting the grandkids, maybe you're back at work, maybe you're traveling. I need you to learn more about everything. So promise yourself every day that you'll jump over to LA3 and LA1 to watch one show per day from those other channels. On LA3 yesterday, we aired live crypto, and it was one of the most watched shows on LA3 today. So thank you for watching that show, and thank you for the new members on LA3. On LA2, live Stimulus, or Stimulus Live, has been a big hit show, and I really appreciate you for jumping in that live chat. It's a lot of fun. Remember, Stimulus Live is open to non-members, and subscribers can jump in there. I jump in there. It's a lot of fun. Great community across the board. Watch a show on each of the different 3 channels. Meantime, do not forget to miss the breaking news on this channel throughout the day. Afternoons LA comes up today at 3 o'clock. It's a brand new show. You don't want to miss it. 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock Eastern. And then 5 o'clock. Please do not miss the 5 o'clock Evenings LA Tonight. It's a special report. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's the latest reaction of Wall Street to the news of that CPI. You see the time right now. It's just a little bit before 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So this was taped before the markets closed. We don't have the full extent of the market's reaction to the CPI just yet. And in fact, we won't even have it by afternoons LA. So much situations happening across the board today. 1, inflation going higher. Recession underway, but going to hit harder next year. Housing market bad, but going to get worse. Debt going to get much worse. Then, when we turn to the other subject matters, stimulus, more stimulus every single week on this channel. Lots more stimulus across the board. Every day, more stimulus is available. Your benefits, absolutely the biggest celebration you could ever have. It's just so heartwarming that all of you have lived through this together with this family, this Purple Power community, and now are going to see the biggest stimulus, the biggest raise of your lifetime. It's not going to be 1 year. It's not going to be a few months. It's a lifetime of stimulus. That's what we had hoped for, and that's what's happening. And finally, if you got that projection right early in this recording about where that bond yield is going, wow. So want to put some money in the bank? Well, maybe put in the 2-year bond yield, because it's insane. The 2-year bond yield up 17 basis points just in the last, 2 hours? 2 hours to a 3.735. That's the highest yield of a 2-year bond, 2-year CD, for example, since November 2007. That is absolutely incredible. Coming up next is the noontime edition of LALATE1. Jump in that live show. Also kicking up and starting in just a second is the new LALATE Live on Channel 1. Meantime, jump over to Channel 2 for Stimulus Live, about to air as well. Remember to become a member. Get these incredible checks, get that incredible newsletter, get those incredible worksheets, and start applying for all that stimulus. Learn more by jumping to LA2 and LA3, watching one show on each channel per day, and learning more and bringing your knowledge to this family, the Purple Power family. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, God bless. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful morning, and stay here as the news continues on LALATE.